The Heat is about two law enforcement agents. One is a FBI agent, and one is a street cop who have to team up to find a drug lord and take him down. But our FBI agent is a little used to being on her own, and so is our Boston street cop, and so they have to somehow mesh their two working styles together. Detective Mullins basically grew up in Boston. She grew up on the streets where she is now a cop. So she knows a lot of the locals. She knows all the bad guys. She knows the ins, the outs. And she has a very, let's say, no nonsense way of dealing with crime. She has very little patience for any sorts of crime and does not hold back on her bedside manner. She has no bedside manner, basically. She will just take down people and let them know what she thinks of them. If she thinks you're innocent, then she is very much on your side and very helpful to you. But if she knows you're a bad guy, then watch out. They're Cagney and Lacey. If Cagney and Lacey were swearing constantly, I guess. What I like about them is they're both really good cops. I mean, they're one. Ashburn's character is a very good FBI agent, and Mullins's cop is very good at what she does. It's just Ashburn has never really worked with people. She's known as a bit of a show off. She likes to take credit for things. She doesn't have a lot of respect for the people she works with, probably because she's smarter than most of them. But at the same time, it makes her a little insufferable and also a little bit in need of being taken down a couple of notches, which Detective Mullins is more than happy to do. Well, Special Agent Ashburn is a very ambitious FBI agent. She's great at her job. She's been solving big cases for a long time. She has hunches that other people don't know about, and they usually turn out to be right. She's very good at psychologically getting into the criminals' heads and getting things out of them. And so she's very respected and an important part of the FBI in New York. But at the same time, she's a bit of a showboater and is not particularly diplomatic with her cohorts. And so, because of this, she's become quite unliked in the agency. So, she's a bit of a necessary evil. They know she's great at her job, but at the same time, she kind of drives everyone crazy. Ashburn and Mullins sort of help each other eventually is their two conflicting styles at first are in conflict and don't work together, but then they start to realize that Ashburn's psychology and way of thinking things through actually helps some of the aspects of Mullins where when she's just sort of brash and blasting into places, sometimes that's not the best way to do it. And so they start to slowly realize that their two styles, if they use them together, can work. And they slowly begin to. I've always been a big fan of Sandra's, and when I read this script, it so felt like the Ashburn characters so felt like Sandra, and yet it was a very R-rated script, and I'd never seen Sandra do kind of R-rated comedy, as far as language and all that, but just knew that because she's so funny, and she's so funny in movies, and she's so funny in real life, and what was great about this is, the more you get to know Sandra, I love her because she's very confident and cool, but she's got a little bit of a nerdy thing going about her. She'd kill me if she heard me say that. But it's what's great because she's just so kind of into things, and she's analyzes everything. She's very analytical about things to a point where it's very funny. Like from the outside, you go like, "Oh, you're kind of a geek," which I love, and that's what I felt about the Ashburn character. I read it and I knew Sandra Bullock was interested in doing it. And as I was reading, I was just like, okay, this is so Sandra, like reading that role. But the other part, I was like, who could play this other part? And about 15 pages in, it just like snapped into my head of like Melissa. And the minute I had Melissa's voice in my head, the script, which was hilarious anyway, got like 10 times funnier. And it just, by the end, I was just like, this is it. This is it. This is the role for Melissa.